Erica, welcome back to my channel. Since it's kind of late in the month to do a September TBR, I thought I would do a Friday Reads, talking about the books that I've been reading lately in the month of September. The first book that I picked up this month was Lullaby by Amanda Hocking. This is the second book in her Water Song series, and this is a YA paranormal fantasy series. It follows this girl named Gemma, who became a siren against her will. And she wants to figure out how to not be a siren anymore, but in order to do that, she needs to find out how to break the siren curse. In this sequel, Gemma's older sister Harper and her boyfriend Alex figure out that she's a siren, so they want to find her and bring her home. I enjoyed this book less than the previous one. I ended up giving this book 2 out of 5 stars. In terms of the plot, I felt like hardly anything happened in this book, and the story itself was just too dragged out. The story wasn't really holding my attention that much. The only thing that kept me reading was Harper's relationship with a guy named Daniel. And Daniel lives on a boat at the docks in their town. Since Harper is the oldest child in the family, she's had to keep her family together since her mom isn't around anymore, and she worries a lot about her family and the people that she cares about. Because of that, she hasn't really had a lot of time in her life to be young and to experience relationships. And she's very reluctant to start a relationship with Daniel. But even so, she finds herself growing feelings for him, even though she denies them and says that she prefers that she and Daniel remain friends. I loved the tension between Harper and Daniel in this book. They have a funny, humorous banter between them, and I really liked the budding relationship between these two. Gemma has run off with the sirens in order to protect her family, but she still wants to find a way to break the curse. I didn't really like this book, which is why I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. The characters themselves and the relationships between the characters are what make this series for me, and less about the story and the paranormal aspect itself. So even though I gave this book 2 stars, I still found myself attached to the characters, and I still wanted to continue the series. So the next book I picked up was Tidal. This is the 3rd book in this series, and I ended up borrowing this book from the library. I ended up giving this book 3 stars. This book had more to it in terms of the story, and I liked the tension between Harper and Daniel in this book. Harper is still fighting her relationship with Daniel, but their relationship develops more in this book. Also, one of the sirens, named Penn, has set her sights on Daniel, since Daniel has piqued her interest. Penn is the antagonist in this series. She's the most horrible and annoying out of the 3 sirens in this book. I didn't like her character. She's definitely a good villain, and it intrigued me to see what she was up to with Daniel in this book, which is why I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. In terms of the plot, Gemma and her family realizes that in order to break the curse, they need to find this indestructible ancient scroll. So the whole plot revolves around finding this scroll. I did find this part of the story somewhat interesting, but again, I was more interested in the character relationships. Naturally, the next book I picked up was Elegy. This is the 4th and final book in the Water Song series. This book wrapped up the series nicely, and it delved more deeply in the siren curse and the mythology surrounding it. I also liked how the relationships developed more in this book, and that her and Gemma got their happy ending. I did enjoy this book overall, but I still gave it 3 out of 5 stars. This series has been middle of the road for me, but I'm glad that I did read it, and that I got to find out what happened with Harper and Gemma. After finishing that series, I wanted to move on to Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. This is the first book in a YA fantasy series, and this book has been on my TBR a couple of times now, the past couple of months, and I finally got to it this month in September. I really liked this book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I understand how this book is very polarizing since it does have tropes, and the main character does seem like a very typical character that's in a YA fantasy series, so I could see how people don't like this book, but personally, I really enjoyed it. You'll hear more of my thoughts on this book in my September wrap-up though. I really enjoyed it, and I definitely want to continue the series. So those are the books that I've read so far this month, but I want to read Cruel Crown next. This is a bind-up of the 2 short stories in this series. I'm eager to see what these short stories are about, and hopefully I like them, if I liked Red Queen. Next up, I want to read Glass Sword. This is the sequel to Red Queen. I also noticed this book is longer than Red Queen, so hopefully there's more story in this book. I can't wait to see what the sequel brings. Next, I want to read King's Cage. This is the 3rd book in this series, and I haven't gotten that book from my library yet. And naturally, after King's Cage, I want to read Warstorm, the 4th and final book in this series. This book is nearly 650 pages long, so it definitely is a chunker, but I assume it's going to be an awesome finale. Depending on when King's Cage becomes available, I might have to change up my TBR a little bit, so I might also read Sweet Evil by Wendy Higgins this month. This is the first book in a YA paranormal fantasy series, and it follows the sons and daughters of fallen angels, and their lives depend on being bad influences. We follow the main character named Anna Witt, who has a 6th sense, and she can see and feel the emotions of other people. Anna has always been aware of the struggle within herself, since she feels pulled towards danger. But Anna is the ultimate good girl, and she's had her angel side to balance the darkness within herself. However, Anna finds herself drawn to Caden Rowe. Caden Rowe is an ultimate bad boy, and everything that Anna should avoid. But still, she finds herself growing attracted to him. This sounds like it could be a really good YA paranormal fantasy, so I'm excited to get to it. If I do read the Red Queen series this month and finish it, I might push this book off until October, but we'll have to wait and see. Those are all of the books that I've been reading lately, and others that I want to get to next. If you want to see more videos from me, I'll put some videos up on the screen in case you guys want to check those out. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one.